Hello everyone, welcome back to English for Specific Purposes, Level B1. Today we are your hosts. I'm Mr. Daryl.
And I'm Ms. Tatia.
We are going to talk about something beloved by both of us, culinary topics.
Oh, such an interesting topic, and we'll have to talk a lot about this topic, right? That's great. გამარჯობათ, მე თათია ვარ, ეს კიდე რილია. კეთილი იყოს თქვენი დაბრუნება ჩვენს ტელესკოლაში. ჩვენ უკვე ბევრ ძალიან საინტერესო თემაზე ვისაუბრებთ. დღეს კი ჩვენი თემა ყველასათვის საყვარელი თემაა, ეს კულინარია. Okay, let's get started. მაგრამ ვიდრე უშუალოდ გაკვეთილზე გადავიდოდეთ, მოდით შევხედოთ ჩვენი გაკვეთილის გეგმას.
We're going to start with an introduction, as always, give you the vocabulary related to the text. We'll go over the text itself. From there, we will move on to a grammar lesson. We'll finish up everything with a little summary and then give you some homework.
Great. ჩვენი გაკვეთილი პატარა შესავლით დაიწყება. შემდეგ ვისწავლით ახალ სიტყვებს. ამის შემდეგ წავიკითხავთ ტექსტს, ამას მოყვება გრამატიკა, შემდეგ შევაჯამებთ გაკვეთილს და დავასრულებთ ყველასათვის საყვარელი საშინაო დავალებით. Okay, let's get started. Mr. Daryl, what's your favorite food?
Well, I'm gonna surprise you, Tatia. So I'm living in Georgia, and I love a lot of Georgian food. I happen to like charcho the most.
Really?
Yeah.
Don't say.
I love it.
That's great. So, what about other Georgian dishes?
Oh, the usual, like khinkali and so on. But I do like things like romi, elargi, that kind of thing. Yeah, I do.
I agree with you. I can't help not agreeing with you.
What about yourself? What's your favorite Georgian food?
By the way, I like Georgian dishes, and my favorite one is khinkali.
Oh.
But I also love Italian food. I'm mad about pasta.
Pasta, lasagna, spaghetti.
Yes, they have a lot of very delicious food.
They do.
Okay, now let's move on to our set of vocabulary, and the first word we have is need. Need is a verb, and in Georgian it means mozilla. Mr. Daryl, can you define the word for us?
So, speaking of Italian food, when you're making pizza, you have to knead the dough that is used to make the base of the pizza. So you've got to press it continuously to make it soft or to shape it into a different shape.
Okay, now I got it. So it means that if you want to bake something, I think that you have to knead the dough, right?
Yes.
Okay. So knead is a verb, and in Georgian it means mozilla. Knead, mozilla. Now let's say together,
Knead.
And our next word is to chop. Chop is a verb, and in Georgian it means dajra. Mr. Daryl, can you help me to give some more specific information about this word?
Sure. A very useful verb when you want to chop food or even things like wood or other objects into pieces. You chop it. You cut it into small little pieces.
Okay, it means that we chop vegetables, for example, when we cook salads.
Yes.
We chop.
Yes.
Ah, that's great. So chop is a verb, and in Georgian it means dajra. Chop, dajra, chop, dajra. Let's say together,
Chop.
And our next word is bake. To bake is a verb, and in Georgian it means gamotschoba. Mr. Daryl, can you define the word for us?
I love the smell of when you bake the following. Bread or cakes, you put it into the oven and you cook it so that it achieves its final form.
Oh, that. So we all love baked things, right?
Yes.
Okay, so bake is a verb, and in Georgian it means gamotschoba. Bake, gamotschoba. Let's say together, bake. Let's bake a cake.
Yeah, for example.
Yeah, okay. Now let's move on, and the next word is spread. Spread is a verb, and in Georgian it means tsasma. Mr. Daryl, can you tell us the definition of the word?
Sure. To spread something over something else is to kind of push it out so that it covers a larger and larger area. You're spreading more and more outwards.
Ah, okay. But can I say, if we talk about food, can I say, for example, to spread butter on the bread?
Yes, and that's my favorite breakfast.
Okay, for me too. Okay, so spread is a verb, and in Georgian it means tsasma. Spread, tsasma. Let's say it together.
Spread.
Okay, and the next word is peel. Peel is a verb, and in Georgian it means gatla. Mr. Jerry, what can we peel?
You can peel vegetables. You can peel other types of food. What you're doing is taking the skin off of the vegetable or off of the other food product, just kind of peeling away the outer part of it.
I always peel vegetables and fruits. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, you have to peel, for example, an orange. Some people like to peel apples, but some people like to just eat the apple with the skin on.
With the skin, yes. Okay, so peel is a verb, and in Georgian it means gatla. Peel, gatla. Let's say it together. Peel. And I think that we have finished with the first set of vocabulary, and it's time for the exercise. ეკრანზე თქვენ ხედავთ დეფინიციებს, ჩვენ უნდა მივხვდეთ, რომელი სიტყვა შეესაბამება მოცემულ დეფინიციას. Okay, let's have a go. Okay? So the first definition is to cut something such as food or wood into pieces. And I know the answer because you told me that we can chop wood or food.
Exactly.
And I said that to prepare a salad, we need to chop vegetables.
You do.
Yeah. So I think that it's chop.
Let's check.
Okay. I was sure.
There you go.
Okay, good. Go.
I will say the next one. To prepare dough or clay by pressing it continuously.
Oh yeah, I remember. You defined the word and you said that it was knead. Okay, let me check, and I'm right.
Well done.
Okay. Now the next one. To remove the skin from a fruit or vegetable. Oh, we talked a lot about it, and you even described the process of doing that, and it was peel, as I remember.
Let's
Am I
check.
right? Yeah, peel. So we usually peel fruit, we usually peel vegetables, potatoes, for example, right? Okay. Well, let's move on, and we have two options and one definition. Okay.
To gradually affect or cover a larger area.
Yeah, I remember. I said that I would spread butter on the bread. Yes, so it was spread.
Let's check.
Yeah, I'm sure. That's it.
Fantastic.
Yeah, okay.
I forgot to mention that I like to spread honey on top of the butter.
Yeah, yes, okay, it's good. Now, and the final one is absolutely obvious. To make bread, cakes, etc. using an oven. It is bake. And we are going to bake a cake one day. Okay.
Yes.
Well, and I think that we have finished with the vocabulary, first set of vocabulary, and it's time for reading. ეხლა კი დროა გადავიდეთ კითხვის დავალებაზე. მაგრამ ვიდრე უშუალოდ ტექსტზე გადავიდოდეთ, მოდით შევისწავლოთ რამდენიმე ახალი სიტყვა, რომელიც ტექსტის უკეთესად გაგებაში დაგვეხმარება. Mr. Jerry, what is the first word we have?
We have boost, and it's a verb.
Yeah, and in Georgian it means gazrda. Mr. Jerry, can you help me with the definition again?
Definitely. When you boost something, you help it become larger, more important, or you help someone to become more successful. You boost them up.
Ah, okay, clear. Boost is a verb, and in Georgian it means gazrda. Boost. Gazrda. Let's say it together.
Boost.
And the next word is IQ. It seems so strange, right? What is an IQ? Is it an abbreviation or?
It's an abbreviation that means intelligence quotient. And what it is it's a number that represents how intelligent you are according to tests. Now, according to a test that you take, you get a number, and that's your IQ number.
Ah, okay. We always do the test to check our IQ, right? So how intelligent we are, right? Okay, so IQ is a noun, and in Georgian it means გონებრივი განვითარების კოეფიციენტი. IQ, გონებრივი განვითარების კოეფიციენტი. Let's say it together. IQ. Now you will know what IQ is when you come across the tests on the internet, right? Okay, let's move on, and the next word is
Nourishment.
nourishment.
Now, nourishment is the food that you take in that boosts your health, that boosts your ability to be successful and to grow and so on.
Okay, clear. So nourishment is a noun, and in Georgian it means კვება, საჭმელი. Nourishment. კვება, საჭმელი. Let's say it together.
Nourishment.
And the next word is
Diminish. Now, diminish is when you decrease something somehow. You make it go smaller, you make it go lesser. Somehow it's getting less.
Okay, clear. Diminish is a verb and in Georgian it means ზომაში შემცირება. Diminish, ზომაში შემცირება. Let's say it together.
Diminish.
Okay. And the next word is processed. Processed is an adjective and in Georgian it means გადამუშავებული. Mr. Daryl, can you help us with the definition?
Yeah, processed. A lot of people don't like this, but when food is processed, you add chemicals or substances to it so that it stays longer, on the supermarket shelf, for example.
Okay, got it. So processed is an adjective and in Georgian it means გადამუშავებული. Processed, გადამუშავებული. Processed, გადამუშავებული. Let's say it together.
Processed.
And the last word is?
Fatty acid.
Fatty acid is a noun and in Georgian it means ცხიმოვანი მჟავა. Mr. Daryl, can you give us a little bit more information about this word?
This is an acid that's found in a lot of foods, a lot of meats, a lot of vegetables as well. And it's something that we generally try to avoid. It's a little substance that's found in food.
Okay, so fatty acid is a noun and in Georgian it is ცხიმოვანი მჟავა. Fatty acid, ცხიმოვანი მჟავა. Let's say together. Fatty acids. Okay, and the next word is whole grain. Whole grain is a noun and in Georgian it means მთლიანი მარცვალი. Mr. Daryl, can you define the word in English?
Whole grain are the grains that are found in certain kinds of breads and so on, the outer skin of the seeds, which we eat for health purposes.
Okay, got it. So whole grain is a noun and in Georgian it is მთლიანი მარცვალი. Whole grain, მთლიანი მარცვალი. Let's say it together.
Whole grain.
And the next word is dairy. Dairy is a noun and in Georgian it is რძის ნაწარმი. Mr. Daryl, can we call milk and cheese dairy?
Yes, dairy products are anything that's produced by a cow, and it's milk in all its different forms. It can be yogurt, it can be cheese, it can be buttermilk, and so on.
Oh. Okay, here we have an example. Dairy products such as milk, cheese, and sour cream are full of calcium. So it means that milk and cheese and sour cream are all dairy products, right?
Yes.
Okay. Dairy is a noun and in Georgian it is რძის ნაწარმი. Dairy, რძის ნაწარმი. Let's repeat.
Dairy.
And I think that we have finished with the words and it's time to move to the reading part, right? A very tasty part.
Yes.
ეხლა კი კითხვის დავალებაზე გადავიდეთ. Mr. Daryl, what do you think brain food could be?
I've heard and I've read that it's often honey. Honey is good for the brain and something else, nuts perhaps?
Yes, I've heard about nuts, that nuts is necessary for our brain to work. And what are the benefits of eating brain food? What do you think?
I think the best benefit probably is that your memory increases, and if you've got a better memory, you can do better at tests.
Yeah, so I think that if you study or just if you have to memorize some things, I think that it's better to eat those brain foods. The brain food, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, now let's read the text and find out very interesting information. There are lots of food and substances which can help our brain perform better, and each has different benefits. There are specific things we eat which help develop your concentration. For example, drinks with caffeine like coffee or food like chocolate may help you focus. Although we hear a lot about the bad effects of sugar, something sugary might boost your memory, at least temporarily. In fact, the brain really likes sugar and it does have benefits. Something all of these so-called brain foods have in common is that they help improve your memory or lengthen your attention span.
There is always some debate about whether or not this food really makes you smarter. But if you ask me, no food or drink can really raise your IQ. Intelligence depends on a lot of factors, and a good diet is just one way of helping your brain work to its potential. So, brain foods on their own won't make you a more intelligent person, but brain nourishment can help in other ways. We mentioned caffeine earlier. I know a lot of students like coffee in the morning or a chocolate bar in the afternoon. Both of these contain the substance caffeine. Caffeine can be considered a brain food because it helps you wake up. It's been proven to sharpen your focus. Like all nourishment, it's temporary, and the effects of caffeine diminish over time.
Well, the kind of sugar that the brain really wants isn't regular sugar. We actually need glucose. As they are digested, foods like bread and pasta turn into glucose. It's a sugar that the body makes from certain foods. A good source with fewer calories is fruit, and sadly not that chocolate bar. Processed sugar, like that found in chocolate, can help, but the energy it gives you doesn't last too long. If it were me, I'd avoid too much because the temporary good effects are not worth the long-term bad effects on the body. Of course, you can eat chocolate occasionally. The specialists recommend dark chocolate. It's known to be healthier than more processed milk chocolate. Just an ounce of chocolate and nuts give you brain nourishment without turning into fat.
Fish is a food that, unlike others we've talked about, has a more positive impact because it has a more permanent or long-lasting effect. Fish provides protein and has a lot of omega-3 fatty acids, which are good fats. Those good fats really nourish the brain. It's good nourishment for your heart too, so you get physical and mental nourishment. I think the key is having a good breakfast when you wake up. It's important to feed yourself well after a long sleep. I would suggest including whole grains, dairy, and fruits, which are good brain foods. Memory and attention spans are longer after healthy breakfast. Blueberries are proven to improve learning capacity and motor skills. And on the subject of breakfast, I'd like to point out that whole grains aren't just good for mental nourishment. According to statistics, they're also good for the heart.
Oh, I think that our text has finished and we've got very good recommendations. We know what to eat in the morning and what will help our brain. Now it's time to move to the exercise. Okay?
Hopefully my breakfast this morning will help me with this exercise.
Yes, I think. Okay. ახლა ეკრანზე გამოჩნდება წინადადებები. ჩვენ უნდა ავარჩიოთ სწორი ვერსია, რომელიც ტექსტს შეესაბამება. Let's start. So coffee and chocolate have similar or different benefits. What do you remember?
This might be difficult to guess. Let's just go with similar.
Let's check. And you are right. Yes, I remember we read that coffee and chocolate have similar benefits. Both of them are beneficial. Now let's move on, and our next sentence is brain foods can or cannot raise your IQ. Let me think. I think that it was written that they cannot raise IQ.
Your IQ cannot really change, can it?
No. So let's check. Yes, I was right. It cannot raise your IQ. Now let's move on, and our next sentence is
the memory or heart benefits when someone consumes sugar. What do you think, Ms. Tatya?
Yeah, generally it's an accepted idea that sugar is really bad for our health, but I think that in the text we read that we need some sugar to be healthy. As I remember from the text, I think that the memory benefits when someone consumes sugar. And let's check. And I was right. It's memory.
Excellent.
It was memory, yeah. Okay. Now the last sentence is, the doctor says that fish has bad or good fats. So do you remember, Mr. Gerald, is it bad or good?
We've all been raised to think that fats are bad for you, but I think the text mentions that there are some fats which are good.
Okay, let me check. I don't remember it. Yes, it's right. That doctor says that fish has good fats. I think we have finished with the reading part and it's time for grammar.
Okay.
Now let's look at our sentence. მოდით გრამატიკის ნაწილზე გადავიდეთ და შევხედოთ წინადადებას. There are specific things we eat which help develop your concentration. For example, drinks with Caffeine, like coffee, or food like chocolate, may help you focus. So as you can see, we have some words highlighted. This is caffeine, coffee, and chocolate. They are nouns for sure. Mr. Daryl, are they countable or uncountable nouns?
No, actually, you can't count them.
Really?
Yep. You can't count them.
Okay, really? So let's listen to Daryl. He will talk about countable and uncountable nouns today.
Okay, nouns in English are divided into countable and uncountable nouns. Countable nouns are individual objects, people, places, and others like that, which can be counted. We use a or an or a number in front of countable nouns. For example, an apple, a school, and so on. From there, an uncountable noun can be both singular or plural. Normally, we would add s or es to make a countable noun plural. For example, apple becomes apples and tree becomes trees. We use the singular form of the verb with a singular countable noun. There is a book on the table. It's very important. Uncountable nouns are materials, concepts, information, and so on, which are not individual objects and cannot be counted. For example, information, water, understanding, wood, cheese, abstract concepts, or things that are liquid or come in like a large chunk of portion. Uncountable nouns are always singular. Use the singular form of the verb with uncountable nouns. There is some water in that pitcher or jug. Now,
and I think that we have finished with the rules connected with grammar and it's time to practice. მოდით გრამატიკის სწავლებაზე გადავიდეთ. ეკრანზე ვიხილავთ სიტყვებს და ჩვენ უნდა გადავწყვიტოთ თვლადია ეს სიტყვები თუ უთვლადი. Let's have a try. So the first word is hair. And the option is countable or uncountable, and I think that hair is uncountable.
Very good. It's very hard to count them.
Yeah, it's uncountable, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And the next word is sugar. What do you think? Is it countable or
with
uncountable?
sugar as well, it's extremely hard to count them. Uncountable.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. This is uncountable word, okay? So, and the next word is bowl. And bowl is countable for sure, because we can have several bowls around us and we can count them and we can say even the number 3 bowls, 4 bowls, 5 bowls, and we put S. It will be in plural, right?
Excellent.
Okay. And the next word is oil. What do you think? Is oil countable or no?
Well, it's a liquid, so it has to be uncountable.
And you're absolutely right. I remember you said it. So I think, Mr. Daryl, I think that we have finished with today's lesson. We've had very good recommendations what to eat, and I think that we will both follow these recommendations in future.
Brain food, breakfast, honey, and nuts.
Yeah. Now let's summarize the lesson.
As you remember, Ms. Tatia, we began with a vocabulary list of words that we needed for the reading that we did. And from there, we did a check on grammar, countable and uncountable nouns.
You're absolutely right, Mr. Daryl. მოდით ჩვენი დღევანდელი გაკვეთილი შევაჯამოთ. გაკვეთილი დავიწყეთ ახალი სიტყვებით, შემდეგ წავიკითხეთ ძალიან საინტერესო ტექსტი, მივიღეთ რეკომენდაციები თუ რა უნდა მივირთვათ ხოლმე დილით. შემდეგ ვისაუბრეთ გრამატიკაზე. ჩვენი გრამატიკის თემა იყო თვლადი და უთვლადი არსებითი სახელები. ეხლა კი დროა დავასრულოთ. I think that it's time to finish.
And our next point is to talk about homework.
Yes, I forgot about it. So what are we going to write for homework?
We're going to ask our audience to write about a recipe for their favorite dish.
Oh, we are going to get some recipes and then we might cook delicious food based on the recipes we receive. But where can the homework be uploaded, Mr. Daryl?
The homework can be uploaded to the address you see on the screen, and you can also find a model answer at the same address.
That's great. გთხოვთ დავალება ეკრანზე მითითებულ მისამართზე ატვირთოთ. I think that we have to finish the lesson. Mr. Daryl. And I think that this is the last lesson for this semester.
I'm going to miss it, actually, Miss Tatya. I'm going to miss being with you
Me
and
too.
sitting next to you and discussing all of these various topics.
Me too.
It's been fun checking all of your homework and seeing all of the responses that came in. And I hope we can continue this next time.
ჩვენი გაკვეთილების სერია დასასრულს მიუახლოვდა. ჩვენ კვლავ შევხვდებით ერთმანეთს შემდეგ სემესტრში. იმედი გვაქვს შევძელით თქვენი ინგლისურის ცოდნის ცოტათი მაინც გაუმჯობესება და გავაღვივეთ ინტერესი, რომ ეს ენა კიდევ უფრო უკეთესად შეისწავლოთ. I think that we have to say goodbye now.
It's time for goodbye.
So goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone, and keep learning.